Welcome to Pre-Snap Podcast, presented by LineStar app. Here's your host, Casey Bubba and Scott Bogman.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pre-Snap Podcast. New tune, same show, I promise. You guys check them out on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar NFL. And make sure you download the app in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Everything you need in the palm of your hands to build your winning DFS slabs for all the sports, for all the websites, for all the fun stuff and things. You can find myself on Twitter at BDintric and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at Bogman Sports. How you doing, my friend? It's been too long.
I know. No baseball this week anymore for us. So now we're only 3 times a week instead of 5. So it felt weird on a Sunday night without talking to my boy Bubba, but we got through it. And we're here to talk some football. There is some thunderstorms in my area, but since I'm inside under a roof, we're okay to do this show.
You don't have the horizontal lightning that apparently comes in LA these days?
No, I have windows, right? Like a normal person, but I'm not afraid of the lightning coming in through the side. So
nothing like building a multi-billion-dollar stadium and still having $5 billion stadium, as Bob would tell me if you were watching on the LineStar YouTube channel, you would have saw that. But $5 billion stadium, and you still have a threat of a lightning delay. That is impressive stuff, folks. That's like next level. You would think this was the Raiders stadium in Oakland, but it wasn't. It is SoFi Stadium. This is crazy.
The one where sewage literally backed up, and they're like, "We're fine.
We're good. Keep playing."
Fine. Yeah.
E. coli, Ebola, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anything that starts with an E, we're fine. So, I just thought that was funny, but I guess it is open on the sides and all that stuff. So they had a lightning delay for a dome. First I've ever seen. But
you know what it really was? It was the Mannings telling ESPN, "Hey, we're better than the other broadcasts. We should be on TV."
Well, you know what? The worst part about that was that this was the first week without the Mannings, and then we had that extra rain delay. Who wouldn't have loved 45 extra minutes of awesome. Peyton and Eli? That would have been great.
Either one of them could have went in their Rolodex real quick and goes, "Hey, who can we get as a last minute guest?" Oh, imagine what they could have done. Like so
100%. That would have been so much fun.
Like beautiful, they could have killed so much beautiful airtime, but no, we were stuck with Susie Colbert and the rest of the crew that just kept falling on each other. It was great. And before I keep falling on myself, we're gonna start recapping your week 4 of NFL action, which was an absolute doozy. It's like I feel like a broken record saying it every week, going, "Man, what happened this week?" It's always something in the NFL, and like this week, I guess was a little more the norm than usual, but still a lot of. The Jets won for
any given Sunday.
The Jets won.
That's right.
We'll get to that, but it's like that just shows you football, baby. Football. Let's start Thursday night though. Jaguars, Bengals. Bengals win it 24-21 last second there. The Jags had a big lead. This was before Urban Meyer went full Urban Meyer. Don't ever go full Urban Meyer. But Bengals win 24-21. Joe Burrow is looking efficient. We kind of talked about it on the show last week that he's starting to be so efficient. I call him like Russell Wilson light right now. It's impressive. He's looking healthy. I'm loving what they're doing here with the Bengals.
Yeah, CJ Uzomah got involved this week too. Unfortunately, it looks like we might be down Joe Mixon for a couple weeks, and Samaje Perine and Chris Evans are going to be mixed in a little bit here. So that's unfortunate, but we'll see what comes of it. Chase and Boyd were great, and Higgins should be back at practice this week, so could be even more Joe Burrow. On the Jacksonville side, of course, like you said, no adjustments in the second half at all is how you lose a game like this when you're up so big as Jacksonville was. But James Robinson is the solo guy now. We'd love to see that. Trevor Lawrence actually looked pretty decent in this game. 17 of 24, 204 yards, didn't throw a pick, and had some nice runs at an RPO and scored a touchdown. Laviska Shenault stepped up after DJ Chark went down. So that was nice to see. Marvin Jones kind of quiet here, and we saw
it was
weird
mix. It's like he did it all in like the first quarter, then he disappeared.
Right. And that wasn't much, 3 for 24 for Marvin Jones is not much at all. So just a weird game. And then we had all kinds of other weird targets. Dan Arnold was super involved immediately after being traded like 5 days before. Jamal Agnew got in on that action. Tavon Austin got in on that action. So lots of guys spacing out DJ Chark and pretty much all of Marvin Jones receptions as well.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting one, but the bottom line, we keep saying it every week, give James Robinson the ball. They gave James Robinson the ball, so he still got it. So
And they
for
had a
fantasy
chance to win.
purposes, yeah, that was beautiful. And I guess Trevor Lawrence looked a little better, like he's making strides in the right direction. Still got a ways to go, I think. So we'll see how that keeps playing out. Washington at Atlanta. Talk about a barn burner. 34-30. The Washington football team heads into Atlanta, gets the dub. Heineke throws for 290 and 3 scores. Gibson gets the job done on the ground. McKissick through the air. T-Mac is unstoppable, as we've talked about every week. Curtis Samuel made his debut, 4 for 19. That was a big one. On the flip side, Matty Ryan, 4 touchdowns. Cordarrelle Patterson, yep. That was I played him in DFS, was beautiful for that regard, but Patterson and Ridley got theirs. Pitts is coming. That's all I'm gonna say. Pitts is coming sooner than later. What do you got on this game?
I mean, I hate Mike Davis. I am so sick of him.
Yeah.
13
Mike
rushes
Davis
for
shares.
14 yards. I mean, I fortunately don't have that many because even though I recommended him and I wanted him, I was taking running back so early. He wasn't in the group of running backs I would get. So I only think I have one share. But Cordarrelle Patterson, he scored 3 touchdowns and it was on like 21 snaps. It was incredible performance. And Gallman had 6 carries in this game. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Gallman start getting snaps over Mike Davis if he's going to be this incredibly ineffective. I'm with you on Pitts. I think he's coming soon, but Patterson continues to be the fantasy man in Atlanta. So make him Matt Ryan okay. So that's nice.
Yeah, 9 targets for Pitts was good, and they should. It was Matt Ryan was actually throwing the ball down the field this game, so maybe there's that'll help things out. And the Patterson thing is, I when I was working on an article last week, I noticed it looking into his workload, one would say, and yes, it was only 21 snaps. He's only played about 30% of the snaps each week. But when he's in, they scheme to get him the football. That's the crazy thing. He's got like 6 targets in every game or something like that, 6 or 7 targets. So they're trying to make a point to get him the ball when he's in the game.
It's just going to be, if they keep being that predictable, it's just going to be, all right, put 2 guys on Patterson and he's in the game, True. So they got to start. I feel like he's got to start getting more snaps because it's going to become too predictable.
True.
I think you're absolutely right about that. On the Washington side, Heineke was pretty good in this game, but it is the Atlanta defense. I'm not worried about Gibson because the dude doesn't need 20 touches. But I mean, he got 15 again or 16 again, under 20, and they had a tough time beating Atlanta. And the defense just is not looking good. Another 30 points that they give up here is not great. T-Mac, like you said, is just unstoppable. 2 more touchdowns. And McKissick really stepped up after Logan Thomas went down. So none of the other wide receivers really made that step. Curtis Samuel could next week. He was limited in snaps coming off the IR this week. But looks like McKissick is their guy with Logan Thomas down.
Yeah, it's still like we say, like a broken record. It's so frustrating that they only use McKissick. Like a lot of those 2-minute drills where Gibson could easily do it. He kept feasting on those drills. Like it was crazy. All right, Buffalo, Houston. We both said it on the pick show. Minus 17.5 is such a big number, but we both took Buffalo, saying they're going to crush them. 40-0, Bogman. 40-0. And Buffalo had some of their big defenders sitting out this game. Like Boye and stuff. It was bad.
Houston won a game this year. I hope they enjoyed it because it ain't happening.
No wonder
again.
Urban Meyer's going to bars in Ohio. It's that bad.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Houston is terrible. Yeah, they're the team that beat Jacksonville, right? Yep. Mills just looked awful. He was completely overwhelmed in this game. 11 for 21, 87 yards and 4 interceptions. I mean, that's just disgusting. They had nothing in the running game. Even Brandon Cooks, who had 7 targets, 5 catches for 47, was held under 10 points. We said before, Brandon Cooks is the only viable Texan you can own. It might be nobody, actually. Yeah. So we'll see. A little frustrated.
They should get Tyrod back, I think, in like 2 weeks.
I mean, yeah, hopefully.
That'll help.
So, yeah, I mean, at this point, you might just want to keep Davis Mills in there and get that number 1 overall pick, I mean, of course, it would be the year that who knows who the number 1 QB is.
Yeah, I was trying to think off the top of my head, like there's no quarterback standing out as the clear number 1 right now.
Right. It was Rattler going in, Rattler and Howell, and they
don't look great.
Yeah, I mean, Rattler specifically doesn't look good. Howell has at least played
maybe it's Thompson
decent games. It could be. It could be Malik Willis, dude. It could be Dylan
Malik
Gabriel.
Cunningham out of Louisville. Just give me this guy that can run all over the place.
No
I'm just
way.
kidding. Hartman out of Wake Forest.
I mean, no.
I'm just throwing out names because it's that bad.
It's rough. Yeah, it's rough. And I mean, I know too, because Pittsburgh's probably going to be looking for a quarterback in this draft. So
I thought they were getting Aaron
desperately
Rodgers. That's what all the reports said. Aaron Rodgers going to Pittsburgh.
Stop it. Singletary and Zac Moss both splitting again is annoying. But Zac Moss is still the goal line guy. And, I looked and it wasn't, I thought, okay, maybe this is Singletary working all in the fourth quarter. It wasn't. They both split. He did have the last surge, but Moss was getting carries the drive before him. So it wasn't like an all fourth quarter thing. Dawson Knox, huge game. Don't think it's going to happen again with the 2 touchdowns for him, but he's always going to be involved. And Emmanuel Sanders is becoming the clear number 2. And, Cole Beasley, 2 for 16. Yikes.
Yeah, Dawson Knox took the Cole Beasley role.
He did.
That's
he really did.
Took place there. It was all the reports. They love the athleticism from the guy because he can block, but also go out there run the routes. So it'll be interesting to see if that continues on there, to say the least. All right, Chicago Bears. They win 24-14 at home to the Detroit Lions. Justin Fields got the start, but did he really? Because they didn't really let him do a whole lot. Still threw for 209, no touchdowns. David Montgomery went nuts before he got hurt. I mentioned it on the DFS show. If Field starts, Mooney's his guy. Mooney had a big game. Something to keep an eye on there. And on the Lions side of things, yeah, it's still a headache, as it usually going to be with them.
Yeah, they're rough. And this is the first game that they weren't in, because we were pretty excited about them in this game because they've been in every game, and Chicago looked so horrific last week. But Detroit had nothing on offense. I mean, Swift, who was supposed to get the run, had 8 rushes for 16 yards and 4 catches for 33. Jamal Williams didn't even get a target. They just didn't do much. So there wasn't much to take away on the Detroit side. On the Chicago side, I mean, you take play calling away from Matt Nagy and they win a game. So I like that. David Montgomery should get fed if he's okay, but probably going to be week to week. Damian Williams got banged up at the end of the game too. So we might be going down the list to Khalil Herbert for this week. So Damian Williams should be okay, but it's never a guarantee. So, but Khalil Herbert could be involved anyway. Looks like Mooney is the guy for Justin Fields, but I am not giving up on Allen Robinson yet. I just can't do it. He's made many loser quarterbacks look great. So I'm expecting him to eventually do it. I know he doesn't want to be in Chicago, all that stuff, but he does want a big contract. So let's see him go. I think we'll see it this week.
And Andy Dalton's the quarterback next week, so who cares? Because Matt Nagy likes to get fired. A fun one in Dallas. Panthers lose 28-36 to the Dallas Cowboys, but some garbage touchdowns there at the end for the Panthers. Still a very, very good football game overall. On the Panthers side, Darnold threw for 301, 2 touchdowns through the air and 2 on the ground. DJ Moore is just an absolute monster. Absolute, just keep playing him every week. And then the Cowboys, Dak looked efficient, 4 touchdowns with only 188 yards. Zeke looked like a freaking monster on the ground. And Dalton Schultz did it again. Folks. So what do you got on this game?
Yeah, I was a little worried about Schultz because he fumbled in that first drive, and then Jarwin scored, and I was like, "Uh-oh, did he just give his job away?" I don't know, but he didn't. He came back and scored a touchdown. Looked good. Look, the talks of Zeke's demise were way overblown in this offseason, right? 20 for 143 and a touchdown, 7.2 yards per carry against Carolina, who had looked pretty damn good on defense up until this game. Cooper was great. I'm not worried about CeeDee Lamb even a little bit. I know some people were, but CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard are the only guys that touched the ball and didn't score, because Zeke, Cooper, Schultz, Wilson, and Jarwin all scored, and Dak threw 4 touchdowns, obviously. So Pollard and Lamb, only guys that didn't get in the end zone this week, but you can't give a touchdown to everybody. As far as Carolina goes, like you said, I think DJ Moore and Deebo Samuel are 2 wide receivers that are taking their ascension into the highest group, and that's what we're seeing them do. And, it's just, it doesn't matter who's on Moore. He torches them every single week. So, and Trayvon Diggs is playing some good corner. He leads the league in picks already this year. So, but Moore just made him look silly. 11 targets for Robbie Anderson, just didn't come down with the ball that much. So that's at least something you can take away and say, okay, well, at least this is good. And, Hubbard way over Royce Freeman. So not particularly the best day for Hubbard, but he was way, way more involved than Royce Freeman. And Rodney Smith, 5 for 48, was just a receiving back. So
yeah, that was the weird part. He was a receiving back and Chuba was just the running, not like the old days where you get both. So it was just kind of strange.
Yeah, they were kind of close in snaps too. But I think once Chuba makes a couple explosive plays, I like Rodney Smith, by the way, Minnesota running back. Always like watching him in college, but he is always hurt. Chuba, who's a guy that was hurt in college too, but Chuba, track star, just super, super fast. So just get the ball in his hands a couple times, and usually he's going to pop one off. So I'm not worried about him at all.
Yeah, and the CeeDee Lamb thing, don't worry about it, because week 1 they threw the ball like 57 times or something.
Yeah.
Over the last 3 games, they've thrown the ball like 70 total, or something like that. They're playing to their strengths for the matchup. It's that simple. They're playing. The Cowboys are playing smart football. That's all it is. Like when they have to throw it, they have all the weapons in the world, but you got Zeke playing like Zeke, Pollard playing awesome. Why not run the ball?
This is why you give coaches 2 years, right? Because a lot of people, I thought Mike McCarthy might get fired because there's no patience anymore. Yeah. But I mean, there's a difference between Mike McCarthy, who had won a Super Bowl before, and a guy like Urban Meyer, who hasn't coached in the NFL, and also Mike McCarthy didn't have off-field stuff. So it's like Urban Meyer is punting, right? It's like he's punting on an NFL career already.
Yeah, he's doing something, that's for sure. Colts at the Miami Dolphins. Colts win 27-17 because the Dolphins are dead Dolphins. Carson Wentz throws for 2 touchdowns on 228. Jonathan Taylor goes up for a $103 and a score. So that was good to see. Pittman got 6 catches. Mo Alley Cox 2 touchdowns. And then on the Dolphin side of things, same thing happened again, Bogman. They go down, and then they let Jacoby Brissett throw the football, and he runs him down the field and scores and does this same garbage program every same weekend. And I'm sick of it. So Gesicki's becoming valuable, though. I'll tell you that much, compared to week 1. Other than that, though, it's painful.
Yeah, look, I was doing the teeth emoji face the whole time you were talking about it because I could hear the viciousness in your voice. But you're absolutely right. They will not let Brissett open up the offense. And what the hell's going on with the running backs? Is it Malcolm Brown? Is it Gaskin? I mean,
it looks like it's Malcolm Brown the last few weeks. Like each week it's grown towards him, and Gaskin's getting the short straw here. But it's like the way they're running that offense, I don't even know what they want to do anymore. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I get that. So that's got to be frustrating. And then on the Colts side, look, you give the ball to your best player around 20 times and you win the game. So, Taylor, 16 for 103 and a score, 3 for 11. Great job. Don't know why Marlon Mack got 10 carries, probably just because they were up by so much, at the end of the game. And, Mo Alley Cox, Jack Doyle missed this game. So don't get too excited. Mo Alley Cox nonsense. So rough game. I thought about you the whole time. I was like, come on, Dolphins, let's go. What are we doing?
It's what I predicted. It's like they just don't. And then all of a sudden they let him go, and he can run the offense. Shocker. So it's like, Jesus, idiots. Browns at the Vikings. Browns went 14-7. They asserted their defensive dominance as you predicted on the pick show. You nailed that one. I thought this would be more of a shootout. And it started out, both teams scored a touchdown on the opening drives, by the way. I was like, oh, here we go. Game on. And then it was just back and forth. Chubb ran for 100. Hunt ran for 70. And we saw Higgins have Beck only had 227, had 7 targets. He got missed on a couple big plays. So that could have been a different ball game. Flip side, Cook got banged up again. Keep an eye on that. Justin Jefferson found the end zone, but overall kind of a lackluster week of action for the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, look, they let Dalvin Cook go, but limited him. So, I don't know even if Dalvin Cook's at his best, if he's obviously better, but I don't know how much better against this Browns front 4 that is clicking right now. I mean, did you see there was a play I posted? We have an IDP room on ITL, and I posted the Myles Garrett. He just bull rushed the tackle. I think it's O'Neal. The guy just got paid, by the way. Just pushed him back like he was a rag doll, like he was one of those instruction padding things, you know what I mean? Like just pushed him back like he wasn't there, like he was the
water boys holding the pad, just got ran over.
Yeah, dude, it was unbelievable. This dude's a Pro Bowler. He
Garrett's a
ran
beast, man.
right
He's a
over
freak.
him, and he is just unstoppable. So yeah, I mean, frustrating day. Kirk Cousins not that great, Baker Mayfield not that great, but this is how the Browns should be winning games. You don't want Baker Mayfield throwing the ball 50 times. You want him throwing it somewhere between 20 and 30. This was 33 for 155, a bad day, but 2 touchdowns is all it took to win. So they did it all right.
And the frustrating part is Nick Chubb ran for over 100, but Kareem Hunt got the 1-yard touchdown run. So that's always one of those where you're just like, you've got to be kidding me.
That happened to Fournette too on Sunday night. So
if we're comparing Fournette to Chubb, then we know.
I'm just saying, one guy got all the work, the other guy got the touchdown. You jerk.
I know, it's like Coach Kilmer and his New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints. Giants win in overtime, 27-21. Danny Dimes throws for over 400 yards and 2 scores. Saquon Barkley, 52 on the ground and a score, plus 5 for 74 and a score. Bogman, I pictured just running. Well, I didn't picture it because it would have been rough to picture, but I pictured he was running around celebrating. Let's put it that way in his house because Saquon went nuts. But Kenny Galladay sighting, your boy Tony had a ball game. And on the Saints side of things, Kamara ran great, just didn't find the end zone because Taysom Hill got 2 touchdowns. Fun.
Speaking of vultures, I mean, it was the week of the vulture. Yeah, I totally forgot about Taysom run those 2 in. So, but at least he also was 2 for 3 with a pick. So, great showing from Taysom Hill. Just exactly what you want, right? So, let's throw a pick with him, but he also gets the 2 touchdowns. What are you doing, Sean Payton? Look, if I did exercise and run, I would take a victory lap for Saquon Barkley. So,
maybe you went and got an extra Whataburger to celebrate. Let's put that.
That's right. Exactly. So it is right down the street from me. Kenny Galladay, I love coming back in, and I started to victory lap that a little bit too, but then Welsh reminded me that Sterling Shepard still does exist.
Yes,
and we'll take
Slayton
targets
was
away.
out too. 2 guys were out.
I understand, but you look, Kenny Galladay is the dude they paid. Yeah. So you want him building a big rapport. This is the opposite of what we saw with Mayfield and OBJ this week, although last week that looked good. Love seeing Tony get involved, but and John Ross still alive. So that was nice to see. It was frustrating to see Evan Ingram because we both like him get 5 for 27.
He got to get down the field. Targets, just nothing to show for it. Like that's the frustrating part.
Got to break a tackle. Got to get downfield. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't have it right now. But that was frustrating. But yeah, I mean, look, this Giants offense with the offensive line playing a little bit better now. Saquon all the way healthy. 57-7. He outsnapped Booker, right? So Shepard and Slayton coming back. This might be a pretty damn dangerous team on offense, the Giants. So and they're not terrible on defense either. So, they can make a little noise. They look way better and more confident than Philly right now. I'll say that. Yeah, so,
that's for darn sure.
I mean, it's been all downhill for the Saints since week 1. I don't know what the hell's going on over there. The only guy you can count on is Kamara.
Yeah, Kamara, I love seeing him getting 20-plus touches, but they're not really using him in the passing game, which is weird. And then Taysom Hill's getting the goal line touchdowns. The big Kamara game's coming, though. It's coming. If they keep letting him touch the ball like this, he's going to start breaking some. So be prepared for that. Titans at the Jets. Jets win 27-24. And the Titans were lucky to force overtime. Let's put it that way. They scored late to tie it up at 24. The Jets were in control of this football game. These words are hard to come out of my mouth, trust me. But no Julio Jones, no A.J. Brown, but Henry ran wild as we expected for 157 and a score. Nichols was the lead pass catcher out of the backfield with 8 for 74 on 12 targets. Chester Rogers, Josh Reynolds. Not what you wrote up if you're a Titans fan, but it's what you get with your big boys out. And give Zach Wilson credit. He got the job done. Almost threw for 300 and 2 scores.
Yeah. Zach Wilson can throw the ball. I mean, it's not all going to be interceptions for him the whole year. And guys started to come down with the ball. I think, they were without some hands with Jamison Crowder out. Crowder's back. They win a game. So he's a big part of that offense and, clears out a lot too. So I was happy to see him get involved. The Titans just seem to play up or down to their competition every week. Outside of week 1, they got crushed by Arizona. But other than that, they've been close games. They were kind of close against Indy, even though they won that game. They had to go to overtime to beat Seattle. So they've been in 2 overtime games here. Yeah, Tannehill was great. I mean, Derrick Henry continues to be the man. I thought Westbrook, and he's had the most snaps, just in 8 targets, but 3 catches. So
That's rough.
just not great for him. They need AJ Brown and Julio back in the worst way. On the Jets side, I mean, I love the fact that Carter got a touchdown and most of the carries, but he had 13 for 38, 2.9 yards per. So that's terrible because the Titans defense is not good. So I would expect him to be better, but Corey Davis back to a big week. Like I said, 9 targets, led the team in his first game with, I almost said Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson for Jamison Crowder. So he's going to be a guy you can pick up off the wire and start DFS. So I'm excited about him.
Yep, should be a fun one. Chiefs at the Eagles, and the Chiefs did what we thought the Chiefs would do. Put the beat down on, showed a little anger there, went 42-30. Mahomes throws for 278 and 5 touchdowns. Elaire another 100 on the ground. Tyreek went bonkers for 11 for 186 and 3 scores. Kelsey only had 4 for 23 on 6 targets, but I'm not worried about that one bit. Flip side, Jalen Hurts almost throws for 387 and 2 touchdowns, ran for 47 as well. He looked good. Smith had a big game. It just wasn't enough to keep up with an angry Chiefs team.
Yeah, I mean, they like you said, they flex their muscles. And I'm not worried about Kelsey not having a big game. Everything went to Tyreek and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and 5 touchdowns for Patty Mahomes. I mean, Fortson caught a touchdown here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire caught one. And then everything else went to Tyreek. So this was just, Pat and Tyreek are going to beat you. That's exactly what happened. For the Eagles, I was happy with how Jalen Hurts looked. And I know this Chiefs defense has looked terrible. And that seems like it's also going to play 2 overs more than it did last year because the defense has been bad the whole month. So the whole month that we've had already in the NFL. So we'll see if it continues to be bad or if they can make improvements, but I wouldn't count on it. Hate that Miles Sanders got nothing in this game again, and Gainwell was flat out better than him.
Yep.
So that is going to may flip time because this is a new coaching staff in Philly. They don't owe Miles Sanders anything. Yep. So if Gainwell's going to be playing better, he might get more of the run. So we'll see this week. Really glad the Slim Reaper came back and played well. 10 for 7 and 122. He's going to be huge this year. Yeah. So excited about that. I mean, Rager continues to just be a disappointment.
Big time disappointment.
Got a lot of offseason hype too. Just has not paid off.
Yep, pretty disappointing there. What wasn't disappointing, the Cardinals go into SoFi, win 37-20. Shocked me. So I thought the Rams were going to take this game, not because the Cardinals are bad, just because I thought the Rams were better. But they would go in and take care of business. Kyler Murray, a very efficient 24 for 32 for 268 and 2 scores. Chase Edmonds run for 120. Connors 2 touchdowns. AJ Green beasts out again. Every game he's had at least 6 targets this season. He looks great. On the Rams side of things, Stafford looked good, 280 and 2. Darrell Henderson looks awesome. Running game, passing game looks sweet. And then, they spread it out between Jefferson, Kupp, and Woods, given Kupp had 13 targets compared to their 6, but it ended up being very similar in the stat score.
Yeah, this is one of those games. You mentioned it was, it was a weird week. This is kind of the first game where I was like, this is not something I saw within my realm of possibilities, was the Cardinals putting up a ton of points on the Rams in LA with the run game. I just didn't see that happening. Connor ran for 2, 12 for 120 for Edmonds, 10 yards a clip. That's insane. I know he had a big one, a 54-yarder, but come on, he had 11 other rushes outside of that. You can't stop him on one of those. So surprised about that. Hopkins was banged up and had Ramsey, which made AJ Green their guy. Max Williams also scored a touchdown, which was nice to see. Christian Kirk disappeared, so I hate him. I can no longer stand him. I've always wanted to drop the other hat on Christian Kirk, and now I'm glad that I have an excuse to, which means he'll catch 3 touchdowns next week. But as far as Rams go, you said it. Darrell Henderson, just 90% of the snaps, and Sonny Michel had like 7 snaps. So it was all going to Henderson. He is their only back. Love that. Starting to get worried about Robert Woods because, yes, he scored a touchdown, but that was absolute garbage time. That was at the very end of the game. Did not matter. Nobody cared about covering him. Van Jefferson seems to be like he might be taking over that number 2 role, at least as far as production goes. I know Woods still leading in snaps, but Jefferson is just coming along and playing better and just has more of a rapport with Matt Stafford right now. So looks like that's going to be the way it goes.
And in the end, it doesn't matter when Cup's getting 13 targets. I know only caught like 5 or 6 of them, but when he's getting that kind of target share, it's going to be tough for multiple guys to thrive in that kind of offense. Seattle at San Francisco. Seahawks go in and win 28-21. Russell Wilson, another Russell Wilson game, throws for 149 and 2 scores. Alex Collins basically outplays Chris Carson. That was my biggest takeaway from the Seattle side of things. On the Niners side, Jimmy G hurt, out for a couple weeks. Trey Lance comes in, looked okay, had some rookie moments, but had some good moments for sure. And Deebo Samuel, he hinted at earlier, beasting out, just an absolute monster. And who that blown coverage on the touchdown, that guy should be fired.
Right. Yeah. Look, Debo is the absolute man. And I've said this since he was at South Carolina. I love watching him there. And it is a joy to watch him in the NFL with some bad quarterbacks too. Winning some battles and unstoppable so far this year. Debo has been. And Sermon looked good too. This Seattle defense is rough. So I'm actually surprised at the outcome of this game because it's not, you look at the stats, it's not like the Seahawks blew anybody away. It's not like, oh, they were running all over him or passing all over him. Russell Wilson, like you said, 149 yards and 2 touchdowns. He only threw 23 passes. You did talk about how Alex Collins outran Chris Carson. Chris Carson, they said, has just been banged up the whole year. So they play on short rest this week too. Thursday night football against the Rams. So Alex Collins might be involved. We just saw the Cardinals run on the Rams. I don't know if it's going to happen 2 weeks in a row, but he could be an interesting waiver wire ad. Metcalf was the guy this week. We know Lockett was a little banged up. So not much to take away from Seattle, but the Niners, Sermon looked good. I hope Eli Mitchell's back. I still think he's the better running back, but got to be on the field. And Debo's amazing, and you can't trust anybody else. Brandon Ayuk, another stinker, 1 for 15. He's cuttable.
And Kittle's frustrating. You're not cutting Kittle, but it's frustrating watching that situation play out.
Dude, Welsh said that too, and he's a huge Niners fan and watches his team every week. He said George Kittle's league average. That was what his comment was, basically.
Right now, Dalton Schultz is making George Kittle look like poo-poo.
Yeah.
So it's not good. Ravens at the Broncos. Ravens win 23-7. Lamar for over 316. Lat Murray became the lead back this week, in pretty dominant fashion, actually. Hollywood Brown, big game, 4 for 91 in a score. Good bounce back spot there. And then on the Broncos side, Teddy B leaves hurt. Drew Lock comes in, does Drew Lock things. Other than that, Noah Fant was the main guy there. It's kind of a disappointing Broncos game when the Ravens just did their thing.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to be down 8 Broncos starters, and we were. So, and then it ended up being that with Teddy B going down too. So, just not a great overall game for Denver. And once again, not like Lamar came in and or Baltimore came in and did a ton. Marquise Brown caught the ball, which was nice of him this week. So, and look, this is what I've said about Marquise Brown, and he's going to be frustrating, right? And he's never going to be a guy that gets 11 catches, but he snaps off routes so fast, and he's in the NFL now, and Lamar kind of has seen him for a little bit, so he knows when to anticipate it. He should have had 3 touchdowns last week. He got this one this week. He's a big play dude. Yep. So
he's the new Deshaun Jackson.
Right. You're going to want him, as a swing in a lot of DFS contests. I do like taking him. Latavius, I guess, is their guy, but Lev got in this game, and I don't know why Tyson Williams was inactive. He seemed to me to be the most explosive back on this team, and that's frustrating. But, it was all Lamar passing this game. Prochet got involved. Andrews got involved, but they didn't have to do a lot to beat Denver, who was already hampered.
Green Bay lets the Steelers come into town. They win 27-17. Aaron Rodgers doing Aaron Rodgers things, throws for 248 and 2 scores. A.J. Dillon with 15 carries and Aaron Jones with 15 carries. I think that's because Green Bay was in control in the second half. That's where we saw that. Devontae Adams, 6 for 64. Randall Cobb got some with no MVS in the game, so don't get too excited there either. And then Deontay Johnson, just play him every single week.
I mean, I'll say this for Randall Cobb. MVS did have to go on IR, so he's down for 3 weeks minimum. Right. So Cobb might be stepping up while he's out. I thought it was going to be Lazard. It was not. Like you said, A.J. Dillon ran so well because it was just the end of the game and tired defense, and he was hammering them. I mean, he's a hammer anyway.
He's built for that role.
You give that dude the ball in the fourth quarter against a tired defense when he's got fresh legs, and he is going to make him look bad. And 5.4 yards per carry said so. Look, Najee Harris at least is specifically in PPR a start every single week because he's going to get you a touchdown in receptions every single week. You know, I know the prop was set at 4.5 and the juice was down. I think it was like minus 160 or minus 180 or something. Don't care. Take it every week. Yep. You know, they're doing long handoffs, and those are short dump passes. So for Najee. So we like that. Ben is terrible. He missed Juju wide open twice. It's about time for him to hang him up, but he's going to start until I think until he retires after this year or gets hurt. Which
they're not going to bench him.
I think he's going to get hurt before he gets benched. And I do think he's going to get hurt because he is taking some shots behind this terrible offensive line. Like you said, Deontay's a dude. Can't really trust anybody else outside of Najee and Deontay, though, on this offense.
All right, Sunday Night Football. We were all waiting for it. And to me, this was a massive dud. Tampa Bay wins 19-17. They get the job done. They're going to say all the right things to say they're happy, but Brady looked bad. They can blame it on the weather, whatever they want to. He looked bad. Fournette looked great on the ground. Evans 7 for 75. Brown 7 for 63. On the Patriots side, Mac Jones looked pretty good. I'll give him that much. 3 for 275 and 2 scores. Jacoby Myers had a big game. Other than that, it was a disappointing game, I guess, in the end. The score doesn't say it, but Bill Belichick wins.
Yeah. No, I guess he wins because, everyone expected this, us included, to be just a drubbing in this game. Didn't happen that way. But I think Brady and the Bucs went a little too chess matchy because they said, all right, we're going to beat you with Leonard Fournette. And they did. I mean, Leonard Fournette had 20 carries and 3 catches. So he had 23 touches and ran all over the place, 91 and 47. So talk all that smack you want, Bubba. I have always been a Leonard Fournette believer. And I think they need to give the ball to him more. Ronald Jones came in and got a garbage touchdown, but it was way, way more Leonard Fournette. This is with Gio out, right?
Yeah,
so
that's a big thing to keep in mind.
Gio can come back fairly soon. Evans looked good. I know everyone was worried about Evans in the offseason. He's not the guy that's going to be missing here. AB looked good, and Godwin was okay as well. This is all with Gronk down. So, Gronk is a big piece for Brady too. So that impacted a little bit. But, yeah, I was also surprised how close this game played and disappointed we didn't get more out of it.
Yeah, very big disappointment. What was not disappointing was the fact that Lightning delayed our Monday Night Football game, and the mascot for the home team is a lightning bolt. So go put that one together. You can't make this stuff up. It's like a Hollywood story in LA. But the Chargers win 28-14. It sounded like a Raiders home game. I'll tell you that much. That was bomb. Did you see the intros when they were booing the Chargers on the way out?
Yeah, dude.
My God.
LA was there first. That is Raider Nation.
I get it all. It's just like, wow, that's a rough one. But Derek Carr didn't even throw for 200, 2 touchdowns, a pick. Jacobs only 40 on the ground. He did get the start at least. Renfro found the end zone on 6 catches. Herbert was efficient and good. Eckler had a monster game. And Jared Cook, revenge narrative, took over in a big way.
Yeah, look, Eckler kind of hobbled in the first drive. This is kind of what you worry about with Eckler because he is, they did the whole pound for pound, all that stuff. He's small, dude. And it's tough for a small guy to take the hits with 20 touches a game like he's getting at 18 in this game when he left after the first drive, getting a little bit banged up. But, yeah, I mean, Keenan Allen, another 11 targets, right? Mike Williams came, but this is the Mike Williams I know. 4 targets, 1 catch, 11 yards, right?
On his birthday, got shut down.
Yeah, I mean, Jared Cook did it for him. Eckler scored a touchdown. Parham scored a touchdown. Just, Parham 6'8", just that red zone target and all that stuff. I asked this question because it happened on the first 2 drives, but I was like, are the Chargers required to run a wide receiver reverse on every single drive? Because they did it in the opener with Guyton and it didn't work. Then they did it and it did work, and they never went back to it, which was funny to me. But yeah, look, the Raiders just got beat by the Chargers defense, specifically Bosa. I mean, Bosa was all over. He was wearing out Derek Carr tonight. I think he only got the 1 sack, but he was in the backfield a ton. So good to see that from the defense. And, Raiders look a little more normal. Waller got in the end zone. Renfro got in the end zone, as to be expected. By the way, best play of the game for the Raiders. Did you see the fake punt that the Chargers went for? And he had it caught, and Renfro blew that ball out. Oh, man, that was a great tackle. So guy can do it all. Scrappy gym rat. That's what he is. But glad to see Josh Jacobs get back there as well. Although not the best, but still, a little gimpy, still had 18 touches. So we'd like to see that.
Yep, like to see that. So we'll see where that goes. The Raiders didn't look 3-0 good, but they still look better than I thought. So I'll give them that much. They almost made the comeback there at one point in time. All right, that wraps up the 15-game Week 4 review. Before we get to the waiver wire pickups for the week, remind you guys you can check out LineStar on the YouTube at LineStar YouTube channel. If you'd like to watch us instead of just listening to us through your earphones, go check that out on the LineStar YouTube channel. Subscribe, give you a thumbs up, and let us know how that's going there. Leave a comment in the comment section. Also, if you just like to listen to us, go to iTunes, leave a rate and review for the Pre-Snap Podcast. It would mean a ton to us as well. Would really help us out. All right, Bogman, looking at the quarterback position, Yahoo, I'm looking at guys 50% and below. And the two guys that still stand out to me, Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones, just sitting there way too low rostered from there.
Absolutely. Sam Darnold at, when I looked the other day, it was 37%.
It's 38% now. And Jones is 31. So, way too low. So
they both only gone up 1%. Yeah. And they both play in favorable matchups. Philly for Darnold this week, at Dallas for Danny Dimes. Not that it's good to go up against Dallas defense, but they should be losing and passing a lot for Danny. So, and running a lot for him. He's just run so much. So, I like both of those options. I think you can throw in Mac Jones against Houston because Houston's defense is horrific. And Trey Lance against Arizona. Trey Lance is going to do it with his wheels. So, if Jimmy G shouldn't be able to go, I know that they said a couple weeks initially, and then they said, no, it's not that bad. He might be back this week. I don't know. Seems like he's not going to play, but I would be on Trey Lance as well.
At the running back position, you got if you believe in PPR gold, it could be J.D. McKissick at 39. Seems like a bit risky, but he's in play there. Other than that, you got Kenneth Gainwell at 29. Might be worth throwing a little bit out there for and seeing how that one plays out for now. But anybody else standing out for you below 50%?
Well, Damian Williams, if we find out that this knee injury for Montgomery is rough. Also, Samaje Perine, as Joe Mixon's going to miss. It sounds like he's going to be week to week, so at least 1 week should be on your wire list as well. Latavius Murray was still under 50% the other day, and I guess he's just going to be their guy. It could be Lev Bell at some point too. I don't know. But, you bring in Lev Bell, you activate him up off the squad. He's not going to play special teams, and you give him 4 carries. So what was the point? I don't really get it. But those are the guys I'd be interested in. And deep leagues, you could throw a dart at Bolden or Rodney Smith or somebody.
I was going to ask you about Bolden because he seemed to be the passing guy. He's our little not Jonathan Taylor. I just totally
James White.
James White, yes.
Yeah.
Different Wisconsin running back.
Right. I mean, they didn't run the ball at all.
Yep.
I think Damian Harris had 6 carries for negative yards or something. It was pathetic, their run effort. So they just completely abandoned it and still almost won.
Yep. Crazy stuff. Wide receiver position, 50% and below. It's pretty low. Tim Patrick's still there. Didn't have the biggest week, but Curtis Samuel is definitely a guy. Darnell Mooney, if it's Fields, like we talked about. There's a lot down here, though, if you really want to get
so much.
Yeah, like Hunter Renfro still here. You got AJ Green. I'm a believer in AJ Green. Just saying
me too. I think AJ Green, probably the best guy that you said so far. Jamison Crowder, also 21% somewhere in that neighborhood. Khalif Raymond's put 2 weeks together that are pretty good for PPR leagues for Detroit. Mm-hmm. So he would be in play. Van Jefferson.
I was like, he's 5% right now. 5%. And he's like the wide receiver too in that offense.
That's gotta come up. And they play Seattle, whose secondary sucks.
Yep, on
Thursday. So that could be a good one. And like you said, Kadarius Toney at 3%. If Shepard and Slayton are going to miss again, became pretty heavily involved. So that's what I like there.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. And then I will say it's 58%, so it's kind of cheating. But Emmanuel Sanders should be rostered a lot more people.
Way more.
A lot more.
Way more. Yeah.
Get it on that one. All right, tight end position below 50%. It's kind of a crapshoot, but you got New England facing a tight end sieve, so Jonnu Smith could have a game. But Dawson Knox is still below 50%. Hunter Henry, the same vein as Jonnu Smith, but Schultz is still only 34%, guys. That's your guy. Just go get him, please.
Schultz is a good one. I think Uzama getting involved is nice. He was starting to become a red zone target for Burrow, and I know they had a chase, so it's not going to be every week, but deeper league, you can look at Uzama as well. And Max Williams, caught a touchdown here too.
Machine.
So,
he's very touchdown dependent, though. I'll say that much.
Right.
I looked into it much more.
I think most tight ends are touchdown dependent, but him and I think Max Williams too. Same deal. Touchdown dependent. They're going to get the looks though.
Another one, if you're in PPR though, I'd say Tyler Conklin. I was wondering, and each week now he keeps getting better. But even in only 7 points, I think he had 6 targets and 4 catches or something this past week. So he's getting a roll with the Vikings. So
I drop him as soon as as soon as he becomes great, then I go to pick him up and he sucks. So I will cede Tyler Conklin to you for the rest of the season.
Gotcha. But all right, that'll wrap up the waiver wire portion of the podcast. That'll wrap up the week 4 preview. Any final thoughts, Bogman, as we head into another week of football action?
No, it's going to be another fun one. Excited to see what comes down. Who would be your pick for MVP right now? Is it still Murray?
I think after that win in LA, I got Kyler still. That's a big win. Big win.
That's a signature win that Cliff Kingsbury has been missing for sure. So, that was, I think I'm with you. I think it's got to be Kyler.
Yeah, big stuff. But hey, if Saquon keeps doing this, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you might be really starting to have to do some exercise because those victory laps are going to be tough, my friend. Tough. Mr. Taken with your 4th overall pick. You're going to be doing some victory lapping. But we'll continue to talk about that each and every week on multiple shows because we do 3 shows a week with you, doing the recap show, the bets and picks show. They'll drop on Thursday this week, and your DFS main show on Friday. So make sure you follow Bogman on Twitter at Bogman Sports, LineStar at LineStar and LineStar NFL, and myself at BD Entrick. But until next time, everybody, you guys have a good week.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to Pre-Snap Podcast, presented by LineStar app. Please like, comment, subscribe, and rate for good karma in your fantasy football.